All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining the podcast. Again, I'm here with Julie. She is a realtor in the Minnesota market. Julie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just get right into it. What is your story? Kind of how did you get into real estate? What did you do before that? And if you've been in real estate for, a long time, why did you choose being a real estate or being a realtor?
Well, I have only been in real estate actually for 8 years.
Okay.
I've done a ton of stuff before, but just before I was working for TSA, and I actually, while I was with TSA, I was there for 21 years. I got the entrepreneurial bug by opening an oxygen bar, and when I got divorced, we ended up getting rid of the oxygen bars. But it really kind of fed an interest in me to be on my own, to do additional stuff than just working 9 to 5. I enjoyed the challenge of startup, absolutely loved it. So I saw an ad one time that popped up on Facebook, it was real estate for you. So I'm like, well, okay, let's take a quiz. So I took a quiz, and then that's why I got started actually. And then
Oh,
I
nice.
also have this dream to open a family-based treatment center. And I knew I couldn't do that with a 9 to 5 business. So
Got
that's
it.
still on
Okay.
my radar. That's still what I plan on doing.
Awesome. Yeah, that's basically your why and kind of with the real estate. Awesome. So, I mean, you've been in for 8 years. I mean, you joined it what, a couple years before COVID, all that good stuff. I'm kind of with you. I joined in like about year 7 right now. Um, how did you build your business? Kind of what's been the staple? How did you go from being in a completely different, realm or area in your life, deciding to switch into real estate? How did you go about, building a business so other realtors that are starting this journey can kind of learn from that?
So first of all, I'm going to tell you what not to do. And that's
Okay.
pay for leads, because I spent thousands, I can't even tell you how many thousands of dollars trying to buy leads. And then
Yeah.
somebody told me one time, a lead is an action, it's not a person. And that just really resonated with me. So it's been basically just networking, getting to know people. Uh, Church has been a big one for me. People like that know and like me and trust me, right? And
Yeah.
previous jobs I've had, TSA. There's a lot of people I work there, so I've helped a few people out there as well.
What do you do right now to gain business or find people, talk to people that's unique that might, not be right on the top of someone's mind, like, Zillow or, social media or calling, expireds or what are they called? Um,
Bizbos.
yeah, FISBOs or like, expireds and whatever the ones that were on the market but then expired. Um, what do you do that's kind of out of the norm?
Well, networking. I'm part of BNI, which is just a business networking
Yeah.
international. And that's part of it. And I would say that actually what I probably gained most from that is being able to get up and speak to people. Uh, I am a natural introvert, which I know is unusual for real estate agents, but that's me. Um, the other thing that's really taken me out of my comfort zone is I do 2 YouTube videos a week,
There you go.
and that's all educational. It's, you know, helping sellers know what to do to get their home ready. And at first, I was just whoever wanted to help, I would help. I didn't have a niche. I didn't have a certain. I mean, if you serve everybody, then you're just a generalist.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to go to a general practitioner when you need heart surgery, right? So
Correct.
I decided that who I really like to serve, and I mean, I will help people that come to me. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't matter if they're in my niche or not. But my niche is seniors. So I've really kind of delved into the whole senior line of it. I got my SCRS designation. I industry certified so that I can best serve my clients, because most seniors are downsizing. So they've got, some of them luxury homes that they need to sell, and there's a special handling to be able to get them marketed properly.
Got it. What's one of the bigger challenges with, servicing the senior community or when they're downsizing? Do you find a lot of like, complications on the loan end with like income or, certain things? Like what has kind of been that biggest hurdle for helping that client, client can tell?
The biggest hurdle is the client themselves.
Oh,
A lot of times they've lived in this home, you know, they've raised a family there, they've got memories there, and they're having a tough time letting go.
yeah.
But what they really need to realize is they need to make the decision before the decision's made for them,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of them, they really kind of more are like a first time home buyer, you
Yeah.
know, because things have changed through the years, you know? I mean,
For
we
sure.
even look for properties differently. We aren't pulling an old book just to find where houses are. It's all online.
Yeah.
So
Are you Are you going about things a little differently, like doing, like in person, a lot more in person meetings, like filling out maybe, using less digital options, stuff like that? Or are they pretty, have you found out that the senior, community now being a little bit older and like the internet's been around for so long that the technology is not that big of a big of a hurdle for them?
there's quite a few where I've gone over and gotten hand signatures for everything
Yeah.
because they don't want to sign electronically. And the
Yeah.
other thing is it's extremely important for them to be aware of the fraud that's out there. You
Sure.
deal with that, I'm sure daily,
Hmm.
to where somebody's trying to get their information that the bank needs this and they need that. And it's like, no. So it's really making them aware.
Yeah. I've had a lot of clients in the senior, area downsizing or buying you know a condo or a townhome and just getting rid of the lawn work and all that stuff. And I don't think it's actually the technology hurdle. I think it's that they actually just really love that in-person meeting and filling out the application with someone. So I actually enjoy it because, post COVID, everything's online now, like Zoom meetings and applications and everything's done electronically. In 4 or 5 years, I bet you we're not even going to go to the closing table anymore. Everything's going to be done signatures online. But so that's what I've noticed. And it's nice because it's you actually get more of a better relationship and a better connection with your clients doing it that way. So I enjoy it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, what going into kind of how you nurture and how you kind of love on your clients. If you look back in like recent, couple years, like what do you think has been the biggest reason people choose to work with you and then refer you afterwards? Because obviously, one of the biggest things with realtors and loan officers is not only getting your initial clientele, but accessing that database and really getting referrals, because referrals are the lifeblood of our business. How do you go about making sure that you're going to not only wow that client during the transaction, but also turn that around and get, family, friends, coworkers from them as well?
So I go way above and beyond what I should probably be doing, but they appreciate it. That's the one thing about the senior client is they appreciate the extra effort. They don't just expect it.
Yeah.
Um, I was helping a senior bucket out water when she had a sump pump failure. I pressure washed a person's retaining wall. I mean, so it's all those extra things, you
Hmm.
know, keeping them in the loop through the whole process. I am a solo agent. So when somebody works with me, they work with me. I don't pass them off to somebody else. So it's not like I meet with them and then give them to somebody else. And they really appreciate that. Um, and yeah, they just know that they are being served by me.
That's good.
And
Yeah.
even if it's not to my interest, but to theirs, because there have been times I'm like, it'd be better if you waited a little while and do these things. And they don't have to do everything. There's a lot of times people think they have to have their house ready before they have that initial conversation. And
Yeah.
that's not the case. Sometimes they're going to do more than they need to, or sometimes they're going to spend money that they're not going to see a return on. So I like to
Exactly.
see them early in the process and get them the most they can through the whole bottom line.
That's the exact same with us too. For me on the lending side, I think there's a misconception from borrowers that they need to get everything perfect. That once they submit the application to me, it's like we set it in stone and like I take a picture of it and send it right to the underwriter and they're screwed if anything's, different. So the earlier a person talks to me when they're applying, they might avoid mistakes like, doing things to their credit that might not be, beneficial to them, like you, where if they don't talk to you before, like you just alluded to, they might spend money on something that they're not going to get any return and help you get a higher purchase price for them. So, I think that's super important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, Yeah. So have there been any kind of like, stories or like instances where that's been applicable where you've like, talked to, a person that's already done a lot of things that hasn't gotten a return, or maybe if someone is watching that is like thinking of selling their home, what are the places or what kind of things should someone do to their home to get their home ready, or is it kind of, different for every home?
One of the main things that people can start, right away is decluttering. You
Yeah.
know, especially for the seniors that have lived in their home for years, it's not junk to them. It's their memories, it's their life stories. So go through and, decide what is it you're going to take with you
My God.
and what is it you just have a tough time letting go of. And, sometimes just taking pictures, putting together a memory book makes it easier to let go. So they can take pictures, they can write the story that went along with it, and then that can be passed down, and that's much more memorable to people than the items themselves.
So right now in Minnesota, we're getting out of the summer market, going into the fall market here pretty soon. What do you see going on in the market right now, and who has kind of the upper hand, or is it a pretty mixed bag on buyers and sellers? Kind of what are you seeing right now?
Well, it's still technically a seller's market because there's not enough homes on the market for the buyers that are out there. But the sellers are starting to get a little more realistic with their pricing. They're realizing it's not, you know, 2020 anymore, that they're going to have to negotiate some. I'm seeing sellers doing seller paid concessions, whereas we didn't see that. People are no longer making offers with an appraisal gap anymore. So sellers are starting to get more realistic, and buyers are starting to understand that this is the rate, this is the market. We're either going to buy or we're just going to lose the equity that we could have gained. So they're starting to get a little bit more realistic. Is that what you're seeing too?
Yeah, and I think it's more realistic. I'm also seeing a little bit more seller paid, contributions and closing costs, or reduction in purchase price. I always talk to my realtor partners and my buyers and saying, if you have the choice between lowering the purchase price or getting some seller paid concessions, obviously if you have a ton of money in the bank, then lower the purchase price. But if you're a little bit tight on cash or you want to keep some cash flow, lowering the purchase price versus getting a seller concession and we buying down the rate or getting rid of, all your closing costs is going to be way more impactful than lowering it 10 grand and, your payment going down by like $100. So that's been kind of what I've been seeing a lot, is just a little bit more uptick on those, concessions at the end of the day and after the inspection. So it's nice, especially for the lenders, it makes the loan application a little bit easier for us. So
Yeah.
we always love that. Um, so if somebody told you they were waiting for the perfect time to buy, what would you tell them?
They're paying somebody's mortgage. Do they want to pay theirs or do they want to pay somebody else?
That's good. That's good. Um, what do you, so how would you go about then showing that or articulating that to a buyer? Maybe is there a presentation that you have, or do you kind of go through the numbers, or is it just kind of that, sentence like, hey, you're paying rent, you're not doing anything for yourself or building wealth. If you buy a home, it might be a little bit more expensive, but you're actually going to start getting some equity in that home.
Oh, I have a whole presentation that I go through, break it all down. And I mean, they start seeing it and they ultimately knew it. Sometimes people talk them out of it, you know, but
Yeah, for sure. Family members or a dad or something that thinks they know best. Yeah.
it's extremely important for buyers to get pre-approved before they even think of looking, because sometimes they think they can't buy and they can,
Hmm.
and sometimes they think they can buy more than they can. So it's just good for them to come in realistic in the beginning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, if so somebody wants to get in touch with you, if there is, a buyer, seller, what have you, if they're looking to get in touch with Julie, kind of what's the best way?
Well, they could send me an email, julie@vikingshomes.com, just like our team, Vikings Homes.
There you go.
Yep, and that's my website too, vikingshomes.com. Or they can call 763-257-7231.
All right. Well, we'll put all your contact info in the bottom in the post or in the video as well. But thank you so much, Julie, for joining me today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Alex. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.